It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everybody to our regular meeting of the Wyoming Board of Education. This is a rare event that Jeannie Zoller is not with us. So as Vice President, I will, I guess, officiate this meeting. Can I have a call to order and roll call?
Mrs. Broderick?
Here.
Mr. Feldmeyer?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Mrs. G?
Here. Thank you. Okay, will you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, up next is recognition of the public, but we do not have anyone signed up to speak tonight. So we will just move forward with our board committee reports. Our finance committee met today for the first time since May. And Heather joined us since Jeannie is out of town. And it was a productive meeting. We are on track. Rhonda, do you want to give us the more detailed update?
Thank you. Finance Committee, we did kick off for the 22-23 school year, had our first meeting of the school year. And just a reminder that Tim and I and the designees to Finance Committee this year are Jeannie and Kara. But in Jeannie's absence, Heather joined us. So we were good to have Heather at the meeting. And then we have two representatives from our union leadership, Todd Seiler and Beth Smith, are the teachers who join us at Finance Committee every month when we meet. And so we took the opportunity to review just where we ended fiscal year 22. We looked at our cash balance. We hit the highlights from anything that had changed materially since the end of May, which was just some minor changes as we wrapped up the year in salaries and benefits. And then we started the review for this school year of the salary and benefit analytic. We know that salaries and benefits represent about 85% of our budget. And so we use that as an internal control document, and also just we review it as a finance committee once a month just to make sure we're on track and that we all are on the same page in terms of the assumptions that are used to build the forecast. And then we looked at our July income tax payments and looked at each of the components of our income tax payment and just had a really good discussion about how those indicators are increasing or decreasing one way or the other. And so good dialogue from our board members and also from our union leaders as we continue to try to understand how the volatility in our income tax collection, which was good. This income tax payment was strong collection. And so just helps us continue to look at that and understand how that might continue to take shape when we think about the November version of our 5-year forecast. So we'll have one more payment by then, and then also have a few more meetings of Finance Committee. And so that helps us, that conversation helps us all feel more comfortable when we build those assumptions in the November version of the forecast. And then we also have received our final settlement of property taxes. And so the committee also just took a deep dive about that, also looked at some history, just to make sure we understand how that collection has taken shape over the past few years and how again, that understanding helps us build assumptions when we think about the next version of the forecast. I don't think I left anything out. Great, thank you.
Okay, Citizens Advisory Committee.
So we met on August the 4th. And if you recall, last month we were saying we are changing up some of our committees. So John joined us on CAC, and then the 4 of us were able to look at applications. So thank you to everybody. We had a fair amount of people who applied to be on the committee, which was wonderful. And so we really look at different backgrounds and years people have lived here, and really just try to get a balanced group of people who can bring in different perspectives, I guess. And we want to thank everyone who had applied. And from that, we are excited to announce it for the new Citizens Advisory Committee. We have 4 people who will be joining us that will get started here soon. Justin Bolarski, Kelly Churchwright, Warren Fernandez, and Nathan Lee.
Very talented.
And yeah, I'm very excited about kicking off the year. We are actually going to be meeting first on September 13th. And so I'll make sure that I'm reaching out to the entire committee about that. And this year we're going to be focused on 2 different studies. And again, these are looking at best practices in the use of weighted trades, one study, and then another study being best practices with regard to gifted service and delivery options. So excited about the work that will be done within those 2 groups. I originally had an earlier date, but we're gonna be pushing it back, so
Okay,
I'll be
great. I
reaching
just
out to them. No,
haven't-
you'll get that. Yeah,
Okay, is
sorry.
that a kickoff for all the board members or just the committee?
Just the committee.
Okay.
And so we
Okay.
will be pulling people in at the end of the year to celebrate the work of the group.
Okay,
So we shifted things a little bit, yeah.
okay,
So
that's
it'll be
great.
the first time to get together and look at those studies and determine who will be focused on which studies.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, superintendent committee liaison reports, belonging committee.
Similar to the CAC, John, myself, Susie, and Tim met on the 5th of August. So a similar process, and we talked at some length about the quality of the applications for people who wanted to connect with this committee, and it was really challenging to identify the best, mostest right people, but we're excited. I'm reading the names from the update because Amy Hull, Shannon Myatt, Kate Patterson, actually there's 5, Dr. Amy Snow and Janet Zidney were the ones that we selected. I think we went in thinking we were gonna have 3 or 4, and we selected 5, just based on things we're looking to do, but also the quality of the folks coming and wanting to literally represent, you know, some of the diversity in our community, people that were selected. So, John, I don't know if you have any additional things to add.
No, very impressive group of applications. Applicants. It was not easy, but it was also a great result.
And the Belonging Inclusion Collaborative will pull together on September 6th for our first meeting. Yep.
And then what a great problem to have, as you were saying, to have so many
Right.
wonderful people apply for both CAC, where sometimes you're like, I hope people want to do the work, and then to be on the other end, you're like, so many great people are applying.
Yeah.
It's,
Mhm.
grateful that.
Yep.
You don't want to break your hand patting yourself on the back, but I mean, if this community like to volunteer to be on something, I mean, it's hard to get to it, you know, because of the number of people who are working on it, participating to contribute. So it was a good reminder to me in the discussion about the community that we are. So it was helpful.
Community engagement. Jeannie gave us a note. She attended the Wyoming School Foundation meeting, their kickoff meeting. They welcome new board members. Brenda Pantalone or Brenda Blunt remains the president. They have 2 big events on their calendar for us to attend. The first is the Distinguished Alumni. There's a reception, I guess that weekend is October 23rd, 24th, and there'll be a reception that we'll be invited to. And then this year, they're going to have a spring gala, Saturday, March 11th at the Civic Center. And they're in the middle of preparing their fall fund drive. So I'm guessing they're changing this from the red, white, or red,
Yeah.
blue, white, and blue.
What weekend did you say it was? I know we
March
got
11th. So we'd like to thank the foundation for their support. Last year, over $50,000 was given
Yeah.
to Wyoming City Schools. So
No pressure. I mean, I was the person on that committee that year, so I'm just saying.
it's fantastic.
Which had nothing to do with everything else.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that is why.
I was just going to make mention too, we are very excited to be talking about our strategic plan. We have a community conversation scheduled for September 7th. I believe that's Wednesday, September 7th. And this is our first opportunity just to put it out there to our community and talk about what it is, how it was put together, how we as a district are intending to live through the lens of that strategic plan, and get feedback. And so we'll be looking at multiple opportunities during the course of the year, and that is the first opportunity. So excited about that.
Great. Is it in person or
In person.
online and in person? Or
In person.
Okay, in person. Great. Oh, also, I did confirm with Beth Lind, who does the concessions at the football games for October 14th, if we want to have our annual concession.
Yeah.
Okay.
October 14th.
Nanny.
Let's see, PSA, thank you to John. for
Yes.
Filling in for me.
My pleasure.
Go to that one. So that was the kickoff meeting.
It was last Wednesday, I believe the 17th. It was a full house. I don't know that there were too many seats that were empty. And so very positive meeting, doing quite well. know, Rhonda, you sent out the financials, the report that looks quite healthy. They had one of the best, if not the best, Mayfair
wow.
experiences. Weather cooperated. I think people were craving that
Yes.
experience after 2 years off. And so it really showed, I think, in the results. So they were very pleased with that. So very robust financial report there. They are looking for some volunteers. There's some positions that are still in need, the secretary position, the president-elect, and then the all-important Mayfair chair. So if you hear, see anyone, you find someone that's just in a weak moment, sign up and put them up front. And so, yeah, they do need those roles filled.
They do.
So,
I would say just curriculum nights are all starting and that we do love it. We kind of divide up to, we like to try to be there as board members when we're not there as a parent at different schools, just to welcome people and be a part of a different school that maybe we don't get to go to. So those are starting. Middle schools is tomorrow, high school is Thursday, and then I forget all that. I mean, they're all sprinkled about. It's like, that are also important.
Everyone check their calendar. Yeah, it's great. Okay, moving on, facility committee, we have not met, but are probably going to be meeting soon. And planning and goal setting, we did meet July 28th. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Just very quickly, we met on the 28th, and that was to discuss the process by which we utilize to develop goals for the upcoming year. We spoke about the district goals and looked forward to the September 13th planning meeting, which is when our building administrators will be joining us. That's the morning meeting, and they'll be talking about how those district goals have guided them in developing with their staff the building goals and actions for the year. And so that'll be a nice discussion conversation at that time. Again, that's September 13th planning meeting.
That's great. I love how we've gotten into a rhythm of that now. We hear building goals in the fall and see how it all came to
Yeah.
fruition in the spring. So
Yep.
thank you for starting that. And, you know, if there are any families who are interested in kind of seeing things on a big picture level, I think attending a meeting like that,
Yeah.
although it is at 7:30 in the morning, is just a really good view of exciting things
Right.
going on at the building level. Okay, so policy review committee.
We'll have a meeting coming up here soon.
Okay, student achievement.
I'll take the lead on this one. We did have what's called a district leadership team meeting. And so these are leaders from each of our buildings and our central office pulled together to speak about some regular items that we typically talk about every year. One of those is our district goals and professional development and the plan for the school year. So we spoke about those two things. We also spoke about the teacher evaluation. It's called OTES, Ohio Teacher Evaluation System 2.0, relatively new. And so that's important for us to make sure that we're continuing to talk about alignment and how we're using that tool across all three building levels. And then the fourth item, just really important, it's talking about communication. And it's, you know, we looked at the graphic that's in the calendar, it's on the second page of the calendar. How do you solve problems and how do you work through concerns when you have them, and who are the best contacts to be in touch with as far as the communication or complaint process. So we wanted to make sure that we spoke about that again, trying to be in alignment of how communication works so that we can solve problems in a quick way, in a productive way.
I would like to add just that, how well you do, like, I mean, I know you glossed over it, but like your professional development just is one bit. You all do such a nice job at, like, you don't just determine what it is. You get the feedback from everybody. I'm like, how did this one go? What did you think about opening day? What was positive about it? What did you hear from other staff?
Yeah.
It was a nice discussion, and then to always be like the person listening to it. People, I think, that's what I wrote. Like, they shared the positive feedback and they like the flexibility, but you also are good at listening to some of the bits that might be harder things to think
Mhm.
about. So I just think as a person listening,
Yeah.
it's a nice discussion for that
I-
bit and what thought you really put into professional development days for staff.
I appreciate that, and the team has really done a nice job of really being leaders and getting feedback from their buildings, bringing it to the team, and then making decisions that support students best.
Yeah.
And they really do, the team really does keep students at the center and make decisions around that, and so it's a valuable process, valuable team, for sure. That's great feedback, so thank you.
I was curious, what did they give feedback on opening day, on the speaker? Did they like
Yeah.
the speaker?
Very, very
Mhm.
positive.
I thought it was great. I thought about it all day.
The question that was astronomically, how was applicability? Could I take this and use this in my day-to-day classroom? And a lot of people's comments said that the timing was very relevant, coming off COVID and just a fresh start and very positive and ways to think about how you interact with each other and your students and just as a whole. So they got it aligned really well with the strategic plan.
Yeah. We're actually shifting the focus, we're shifting a lot of the content from opening day up to the next professional development day. And so we're putting the R factor conversation on speed track or speed process for the entire district to be trained. And it comes partly because of the value that people have seen in that, so it's been great.
Okay, anything else on student achievement? The Board of Education report. We need to approve a resolution adopting the 22-23 COVID-19 school plan, which this is basically what we did last year, which is to say that we appoint Tim to make those decisions. Of course, following, all the guidance that you have gotten so accustomed to following. And basically, we wanted to be very clear that we support our superintendent in making those decisions. Okay, item B, Wyoming Youth Services trustees. Their bylaws call for us to appoint 2 representatives from Wyoming City Schools, and we are hoping to appoint Susie Hinky, Director of Communications, and Tracy Quattrone, Director of Pupil Services. Anything else that we need to say about that? Pretty straightforward formality. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the Board of Education report?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Feldmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. G,
Yes.
Mrs. Barker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now moving on to the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Kara. Item A, approval of the minutes from the board meetings on July 25th and August 2nd. Item B, approve the statement of revenues and expenditures for month ending July 31st. Item C, accept with appreciation the donation from the Wyoming Athletic Boosters. Item D is approval of our transportation routes for this school year. Item E is the annual reporting of our commercial paper. If you might remember, this was a law change last year. And so in previous years, this isn't something that showed up on an agenda, but the law right now requires that this be part of our annual reporting approved by the board, submitted to both the auditor of state and ODE. And item F is approval of the report, please.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So move.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. G?
Yes.
Mrs. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. Lots of personnel items. So I'll just give a quick glance at each one of these. Number one is, to start off, is the approval of a resignation for the purpose of retirement. And this is Chris Back, media specialist at our middle school. And Chris has actually worked at all 3 building levels as she supported students and supported staff members, and is just a super kind and giving person, and we appreciate all that she has done. We will be celebrating her later on too, so it's not our final hurrah and celebrating the great work that she has done. So it's saying thank you to Chris and wishing her the best of luck as she moves forward, and we'll have more opportunities to do that. Number 2, we did receive another resignation. That's a recommendation to approve that. Number 3 is a recommendation to approve new personnel, and this is Linda Adams, who is being recommended as a 1-year long-term substitute media specialist, and that is in the middle school. And Linda has jumped in right away and done a great job in connecting with kids and connecting with our staff. She's very excited about the opportunity to support students over at our middle school. Number 4 is a recommendation to rescind the athletic supplemental contracts that were approved in July. And you'll see in number 5 that these will be reintroduced, but instead of that, the cheer supplemental being between 2 people, it will be between 3 people. And in number 5, we do have several athletic supplemental contracts that we're recommending for approval. Number 6 is a recommendation to approve extended day services for these counselors and school psychologists. And this is work that happens before the school year or after the school year. It's some of these functions that need to happen outside of the typical year. And these days are found within the contract, and they're balanced out between the beginning and the end of the year. Number 7, recommendation to approve pay for summer literacy work for this individual that took place this summer. Number 8, recommendation to approve freshman orientation support. These individuals helped out in planning and implementing the freshman orientation process to help our 9th graders transition into high school, which is a very important process, obviously. Number 9, recommendation to approve curriculum work and training, again, that happened during the summer. Number 10, additional training that took place during the summer, and this is for middle school staff who were taking board and training that also our many of our primary teachers took. And so this makes a great transition literacy-wise from the primary schools to the middle school. Number 11 is a recommendation to approve volunteers. This is our first batch of volunteers for this year. We have over 1,000 names, which it says a lot. You know, we talk about the incredible volunteers that we have in the district, and the challenge over the past 2 or 3 years of not being able to have volunteers in our buildings. I am so excited to see that opportunity open up, because what it means is better experiences for kids when we have that level of support. So thank you to our volunteers. I'm excited to move forward with that. Number 12 is a recommendation to approve van drivers and substitute van drivers. These drivers support students. And 13, recommendation to approve an extra bell for individuals. That's for a period of 24 days. And again, this is beyond the normal or the typical teaching schedule. Number 14, recommendation to approve special education curriculum work. Encompasses IEP writing, progress monitoring of students. Number 15, student auditorium worker, a recommendation to approve this student. Excited to have their expertise on the auditorium side. And then last, number 16, a recommendation to approve additional hours, and this is through the support of students within prom and then home instruction.
Great.
That's it.
Question.
Yes.
The Chris Back retirement, it says effective 28th of next year.
Yes, yeah. So that will be happening during the course of this year. Yeah, that's why we'll have opportunities to say thank you for her exceptional work later on during the year. But Linda right now is moving into that role as we started the year.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the superintendent's report?
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. G?
Yes.
Mrs. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
And so I just want to talk about the opening. It's been a phenomenal opening to the school year. Lots of excitement, great enthusiasm from students, from our staff, from families. A lot of hard work. I talk a lot in June, July, and August about all the work that happens over the summer. It's not a situation where people sit idle and do nothing. They prepare, they learn, they create plans for students, and all of that amounts to a great experience for kids. And what we saw in the past week and a half is how Wyoming can do that so well. And so it's been a lot of fun to see kids coming back. I feel like there's an energy that we haven't seen for a while, and we're working to keep that up. And so as we make it into the year, we're really trying to align ourselves behind the power of our strategic plan, the power of the work on culture that we're doing, to keep this high energy level and great sense of teamwork that's happening throughout the district alive. And so just thank you to everyone, our entire school community, for making the start be as successful as it was. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
I'd just love to say, I was only there for a part of opening day, the first part, because I had a meeting to go to, but I felt like the balance, as you were highlighting that we're coming into something we're excited about and creating that space for people to celebrate that, while at the same time realizing the community is kind of grieving, is processing through different levels of impact regarding Braden's passing or what have you. I just thought that the combination of that was artfully done and well communicated. And again, I didn't see the whole rest of the day, but I just I thought he gave permission for all of those realities to be present, at the same time, and for us to process as we do. But then later, I guess in the week, services or whatever, just being with the walk and just seeing all the things in the community, ribbons and stuff on the trees and whatnot. It was a reminder for me of what you all as leading the district did to try to connect with and support Braden's family and all the people affected by his passing. It's just a meaningful thing. It's one of the 6 things this week that reminded me why I'm thankful to be a part of our community and to serve in this way. So I definitely wanted to say thank you for that. So the person participating in it, there were moments I was just really proud to be a part of this.
Anything else? Do we approve the superintendent's update? Okay, well then.
Sure.
Not approved.
I would like it. I'd be fine with it.
Can I have a motion to, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Can I ask a question first?
Oh.
What's the over under on the meeting time?
So,
Right now. He's got 4 minutes.
Did we approve the? If we can add an additional one.
He's over 1 minute.
any questions from the audience? We don't need.
No, we do not.
What are we doing? Are we motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Did,
I moved.
Second.
I'm sorry.
roll call?
Mrs. Frederick,
Yes.
Mr. Feldmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.